All right, friends, today we're going to talk about the terrestrial ecosystem called a grassland. So, this is kind of giving you a preview. The actual term grassland just means that it has good soil for growing plants and it's covered in tall grasses. So, if you see anything highlighted in yellow, that means that you need to write it down. So, feel free to pause as you need. But yes, grasslands are going to have really good soil, and that's mainly because grass is all over it. That means grass can grow. It's really good for plant life, and that is why certain animals who are herbivores, who really feed off those plants, will kind of stay around grasslands. Now, grasslands are going to get a moderate, which means medium amount of rain. They're definitely not going to get as much as like a tropical rainforest or even a forest, a temperate forest in general, but they do get a medium amount of rain. And that honestly is what allows the grass to grow. If it doesn't get rain, it would be all dried out and the grass would not be growing on that good soil. So, because it has good soil, that means it also gets a good amount of rain. So the water in grasslands, if there's ever like ponds or anything like that that you kind of come across within those grasslands, is going to be fresh water, no salt water. Grasslands are mainly, especially in the United States of America and North America, they are in the middle part of our nation, so they're not near the coastline at all. So, grasslands in the US, like I just said, are going to be in that kind of middle range of North America, heavily in the United States of America. So, the red area, zone one, is showing you where really tall grasses are. The orange, the yellowy looking color in zone two is showing you kind of mixed grass, where some may be really short grass or some could be tall. And then that green zone, zone three, is going to show you that is where really short grasses are going to be. So you're not going to see these big tall grass that can grow up really high without, being monitored on that. So, temperature wise, temperatures in a grassland and a traditional grassland, especially in the US, is going to adapt to what season it is. So, in the summer, spring, it's definitely going to be warm and hot. And over here in the bottom, sorry, I'm kind of in the way, not sure how to move myself, but that says it's very cold in the winter. So, if you need to write that down, please put it is very cold in the winter. And this gives you a perfect illustration here, this visual of how it's changing from winter to summer. And you can see how the landscape changes depending on what season it's in. So a little bit more greenery on that summertime versus the winter. Leaves are gone. The grass is probably dead, waiting for that springtime to come around so that the fertile soil can grow the grass again. So, with that, grasslands in the world, we noticed earlier that the US, here in North America, in the continent North America, we have grasslands right there in the middle of our country. But they're also located in South America, Africa, parts of Europe and Asia, and definitely Australia. Australia, the continent of Australia, is essentially one big grassland. So, it's pretty interesting with the wildlife that they have there that is completely totally from coast to coast of Australia. So these are just the little bits of places that we have in the world that have those solid grasslands. Now, it's important to note that there is an African savanna, which is a tropical grassland. And the tropical grassland is key to note that it's not a normal grassland. So because it's tropical, and we know in tropical rainforests and tropical places like that there's going to be that warmer temperature with more rainfall. Well, same applies here for the tropical grassland of savanna. You're going to see that it pretty much has warm temperatures year round. They're not really having those cold seasons, cold winters like we would see in the United States of America. So that's important to note. Part of that is that this African savanna is closer to the equator, which means that it is going to maintain that warm temperatures year round. So that's what I have for you today. I do want you to take some time in your science journal. Hopefully, you have taken your notes down by now. If you have not, you need to go back and everything that is highlighted yellow, please write that down in your journal. But I'd like you to take some journal time and really reflect on this question in the blue box. So it says, how do you think the abiotic factors, which are the non-living things of the different types of grassland ecosystems, might impact the types of organisms that live there. So essentially, we're trying to say that abiotic factors or the non living factors that we've seen in grasslands, how will that impact what animals or organisms, living things, live there? So, who's going to live there? Are we going to see that specific animals cannot survive in this type of uh, ecosystem? Or is there certain animals that do? So, I want you to think about that, take some notes down, and then move on to your Google Slides working on grasslands. I'll see you in the next lesson.